Straight ahead on IU NewsNet, make way for Pat McAfee. College Gameday is bringing its full 3-hour show to IU for the first time. We'll tell you how to get in on the action.
And with Halloween 1 week away, safety is an issue, even at the college level. See what IU is doing to keep your night spooky but safe.
Plus, no excuses not to vote. Free rides to the polls this election season. We'll have details on how to catch one. IU NewsNet starts now.
Touchdown, Indiana, and the Hoosiers draw first blood. And it's Indiana football. Indiana football. It is written. Can you say 7-0?
How do you wake up an entire campus? 2 words, Indiana football. Welcome to IU NewsNet. I'm Emma Herwehe.
And I'm Emma Gladstone. The chance for IU to go 8-0 just got a bit more exciting. College Gameday is bringing its 3-hour roadshow right here to IU Saturday.
It's the premier college football pregame show with Lee Corso, Nick Saban, and Pat McAfee, among others. It airs 9 until noon Saturday and will be broadcast from the south lawn of Memorial Stadium.
The pit opens at 6:30 and fans will be there selected on a first-come, first-served basis. The buzz around campus is at an all-time high.
Incredibly excited. I mean, this is only my second semester here, so I feel very lucky to have chosen to come at this point. But it's so cool. I mean, the town is just so excited, and you can already feel the buzz around here. So it's gonna be incredible.
I always watched some of it with my dad growing up, and it's really cool to actually see them come here now that we're actually a very competitive, very good football team. So it's gonna be really cool seeing that and seeing how everyone interacts with them when they come here.
I don't plan on sleeping. I just plan on being out there all night. No tent, no nothing. Some energy drinks maybe.
Me and my roommate are waking up at like 4 a.m. to get up and go, so we'll see how that goes.
I'll tell you, I have no plans to camp out 9 p.m. the night before, but I will be up early. I've talked about it with a couple of people, and in my head I have 5:30, but subject to change, right? You never know. You never know. 9 p.m. is a little crazy.
I've talked to some people. I mean, even alumnus of Indiana, they feel this is the biggest sporting thing that has happened here since 1987, the last time basketball won their 5th championship. So that's a big deal.
The big win over Nebraska during homecoming was a turning point.
And businesses in town started seeing the ripple effect right away. IU NewsNet's Nick Abel joins us in studio with that story. Nick?
Suddenly, it's all about this, the merch. In Curt Cignetti's first year as head coach, the Hoosiers are playing some of the best football in school history. And that means dollar signs for restaurants and especially for apparel shops. Day and night, football fever is in the air in Bloomington. And IU students are upping their merch game.
I actually went to my first game this year against Nebraska, and my little brother came in and visited, and I had one piece of merch for myself. He had nothing to wear, and I was like, what? I mean, I had to go get merch.
I'm right off of Kirkwood Avenue here at IU Bloomington. Over the past 8 weeks, Indiana football has gone 7-0. For students and store owners alike, that means more buzz and more business. Retail stores like Alumni Hall have felt the impact.
From a store perspective, you just see more people here. I mean, more people are coming to games. You can see they're sold out. It's just been busy in here, and it's just creating a fun culture to work with. And even on a Monday at 7 p.m., there's a couple people in the store, which is not usual.
But there is nothing usual about IU football right now.
My freshman year, coming in here, I mean, I didn't have any high expectations, but still was a rough season last year, and I feel like this year turning around, being able to go to games, the whole atmosphere changing. I mean, the 53,000 attendance last week.
The city of Bloomington will continue to watch and support one of the craziest stories in all of college football. The Hoosiers will be back in action at home this Saturday against the Washington Huskies for a chance to go 8-0. Now back to you.
IU football success comes with larger crowds, which means security teams have to work even harder. It demands planning and effort by police to ensure everyone stays safe. IUPD and Bloomington Police have expanded their crews and hours, with additional support from Indiana State Police and other agencies. Before fans arrive, K-9 units sweep the stadium, checking everything from the concourse to locker rooms. Officers are also strategically stationed around the stadium, some in high spots to monitor the crowd for quick responses.
The basics of it are the same. It's just a matter of making some adjustments for the volume of people and the problems that we may expect to encounter.
More fans mean more work, but the security team is ready as IU gears up for another sold-out showdown against Washington this Saturday.
The football team wasn't the only star of the show on homecoming weekend. Hoosier rocker John Mellencamp came to campus from his home 5 miles away, not only to perform, but to help unveil a tribute honoring his contributions to IU. He now has his own statue. IU NewsNet's Michael Livingston was there for the unveiling.
Well, I was born in a small town and live in a small town.
And John Mellencamp still does, about 15 minutes from Bloomington.
I moved here and I knew I would never leave here because it just felt like home.
And forever a home Mellencamp will have on IU's campus. IU honored him with a statue for the donation of his work and archives to IU.
As we unveil this statue today, let us remember the power of music to tell our stories and to inspire change. Let us celebrate John Mellencamp's remarkable career and unwavering dedication to improving the world.
A few feet away from the statue of Hoosier native Hoagie Carmichael in the IU Flower Garden stands the statue of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame John Mellencamp. Both Mellencamp and Carmichael are greats in the music industry and of IU Bloomington.
And the people of IU Bloomington turned out to celebrate him.
I grew up with John. He's been my hero my entire life. Growing up with his music, his lyrics, his meaning, his Midwestern mentality, his roots. His roots are my roots.
Mellencamp uses not just music, but also art as a medium for his activism. His work is on display at the Eskenazi Museum.
John Mellencamp is definitely an activist, especially with his work in Farm Aid, but just with social activism. And I think that's pretty apparent in the exhibition.
His famous So This Is Gun Control painting focuses on the Second Amendment and gun control in America, along with pieces about farming and human rights. But for the statue unveiling, Mellencamp stuck to the crowd favorites.
A little ditty by Jack Diamond. Two American kids just doing the best they can.
A natural gas leak forced evacuations just before homecoming weekend on Friday near Atwater and Faculty Avenues. Residents of East 3rd Street, including Alpha Phi, Pi Beta Phi, and Kappa Kappa Gamma, noticed a smell of gasoline and fumes. An IU Notify alert went out. Residents of Pi Beta Phi were told to evacuate. Some tell IU NewsNet they felt the effects of the leak.
All my friends and I were like, we're starting to feel a bit dizzy, like what's happening? And then we leave to go get food or something, and then we get this text like, you need to be evacuated right now, like it's really bad, like no one can get into the house, whatever.
The leak was contained but lasted for several hours. This is the second time in just 3 months that a gas leak occurred on Atwater Avenue, but we are still working to find out the underlying cause.
The election is less than 2 weeks away, and getting to the polls to cast your vote just got a lot easier. Monroe County now is partnering with Uber to offer free rides to and from early voting and Election Day voting for any Monroe County resident. The free Uber ride will take voters to election operations on South Walnut Street. To claim your free Uber ride, just go to iu.turbovote.org. You can also use this site to check your registration.
Coming up, a reported sexual assault at the TEP fraternity house, and it involves a security guard. We'll have the latest straight ahead.
Plus, Fowler Pumpkin Patch isn't just about pumpkins anymore. We'll show you a bird's eye view of the tribute to Bob Knight carved into the corn maze. Stay with us. Three women who attended a homecoming fraternity event have reported sexual assault to IUPD.
And the accused is a person was hired to keep students safe, a security guard. This is video shot by someone who attended the EDM concert Thursday night at Tau Epsilon Phi. The accusations involve sexual misconduct, attempted rape, and fondling. This security guard was hired through a third-party company for the fraternity's large-scale event. We are working to find out whether there has been an arrest. The security company was on the list of IU-approved vendors.
There's a new position at IU created after 93% of faculty voted no confidence in President Pamela Whitten. This role serves as a liaison between the faculty at large and the president. Whitten has named Marietta Simpson to the role of faculty fellow in the office of the president. Simpson is a distinguished professor of music at the Jacobs School of Music. The 2-year appointment means Simpson will serve as a liaison between faculty and senior university leaders to advance the 2030 strategic plan.
And kudos to a media school senior who won first place in a prestigious competition, the Thomas R. Keating Writing Contest. Ruth Cronin took top honors. 10 student journalists from around the state had 5 hours to produce a story about someone visiting Indianapolis. Cronin featured a family visiting the Children's Museum of Indianapolis, the world's largest museum of its kind. She took home a $3,000 journalism scholarship. And Halloween is almost here. By the time you get to college, do you really need to know about safety tips?
The short answer is yes. IU NewsNet's Grace Morocco joins us with some tips that aren't quite as obvious. Grace?
Yeah, thanks guys. By now we've all been through at least 15 to 20 Halloweens. But in college it often takes the shape of parties or bar crawls. And that calls for slightly different safety tips. The IU police are sharing some of them. Halloween is back and bigger than ever. This year, consumers are expected to spend a whopping $11.6 billion on Halloween. That's compared to the $12.2 billion that was spent last year. To make sure consumers get all of the treats, but none of the tricks, Hannah Skibba from the IUPD has several safety tips.
There can be a lot of scary things around Halloween, but calling the police should not be one of them.
Skibba has a few tips on her safety checklist. First, knowing about Indiana's Lifeline law.
So if you have somebody that needs medical attention, whether that's due to levels of intoxication or anything else, know that you're protected under Indiana's Lifeline law.
The Lifeline law protects minors from legal consequences when they call 911 to report a medical emergency.
Get that them the help that they need so we don't have any tragedies here on Halloween weekend.
The second thing is making safe costume choices. Avoid anything that blocks your sight like wigs, masks, or hats. And rethink bringing fake weapons.
It not only alarms other people that are around you, but it also alerts the police.
The third thing is knowing your resources. In the case of an emergency, you can call 911, use a blue light on campus, or use the Rave Guardian app. This app lets you report suspicious activity anonymously to the IUPD. And finally, at Halloween parties, go in groups. Make sure a friend knows your location or plans. Never accept drinks from a stranger. If you are drinking, leave the driving to a designated driver or use a rideshare.
So just take care of each other, know your limits, plan for a safe ride to and from wherever you're going, and just be a good neighbor and keep everybody safe.
Like Officer Skibba said, the biggest thing to remember this weekend is if you see something, say something. The Rave Guardian app lets you do this completely anonymously. Have a great but safe Halloween weekend. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Grace. Trick-or-treating came early for some Bloomington children who deal with a dietary goblin, food allergies. First, United Church in Bloomington lined their parking lot with 45 teal-colored pumpkin buckets for what they call the Teal Pumpkin Project, which is a national event. The buckets are filled with allergy-friendly treats and small toys. The president of the First United Church congregation has a personal connection to the project.
We started doing Teal Pumpkin at our own house probably almost 10 years ago. And my son has food allergies, and so we've done it every year at our house. And then when we were thinking again about doing a larger event and what could we do that was different, we decided to do it as a Teal Pumpkin event.
It makes me feel good because I don't have to worry about everything I can't eat and what I can eat, because I know everything is allergy safe for me.
You can visit foodallergy.com to find out more about what kind of candy is safe for people who deal with food allergies.
Continuing with our Halloween theme, there's a pumpkin patch with something special for fans of the late IU basketball coach Bob Knight. but it takes a drone to see it. IU NewsNet's Faith Delp has the story.
Fowler Pumpkin Patch is a family farm that has been in Bloomington for 55 years. The farm was passed down to Perry Fowler 15 years ago.
We started this kind of as a joke, and here we are today. So hopefully it'll keep growing for the next generation.
And now the pumpkins bring the most profit for the farm. The past few years, Fowler has hired a company to design their corn maze. They've done corn mazes in the design for breast cancer awareness, autism awareness, and the Humane Society. This year, Fowler wanted to pay tribute to Bob Knight.
Bob Knight passed away last year. People my age that grew up here in Bloomington, Bob Knight was the guy you wanted to play basketball for.
The maze was designed by Precision Mazes based in Kansas by using drone and GPS technology.
I'm standing here at the entrance of this 10-acre corn maze dedicated to former coach Bob Knight. Knight passed away last November, and they wanted to honor him and his memory in the form of corn.
Fowler is donating a large portion of their profit from the maze to the Alzheimer's Foundation. During the 6 weeks they are open, Fowler opens up a beer garden, a new playground for kids, and last Saturday they had live music and a haunted hayride. Drew Stancombe has worked for Fowler's for 2 years now.
I just like the community. Everybody's just always in a good mood. I've never really had a bad experience here, so it's just a great community.
Stancombe enjoys playing a part in the haunted hayride as well as working more events during the other seasons. Fowler is always finding ways to enhance people's experience each year. He already has next year's corn maze idea in the works. However, he is waiting to announce the design until next year, but he does promise.
It will always be good, promise.
Fowler's last day of the season is October 31st. For more information and their events calendar, visit fowlerpumpkinpatch.com.
And when we come back, we go inside IU's obsession with pickleball, a club sport 3 years strong and growing.
Plus, meet the quarterback of IU football's last team to go 7-0 back in 1967. He has a great name, Gonzo, and an even better story. Stay with us.
Welcome back. IU NewsNet's Talia Goodman has sports for us.
And she's not only looking ahead to the big game, but looking back to the player who took IU all the way to the Rose Bowl more than 50 years ago. Talia?
Thanks, guys. That's a great story coming up shortly, but first, the big game Saturday. Indiana football is looking to go 8-0 this weekend when they host new Big Ten foe Washington, and the nation will be watching. College Gameday will be in Bloomington for the matchup. The Hoosiers are coming off a dominant 56-7 win over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, while the Huskies are trying to regroup after falling 40-16 against Iowa. Indiana will have to play without its starting quarterback, Curtis Rourke, who had surgery on his thumb earlier this week. Rourke is expected to be back before the season concludes, but Taven Jackson will be the signal caller for IU on Saturday. The Tennessee transfer led 4 scoring drives against Nebraska.
We have 100% confidence, and the team has 100% confidence. I have confidence, staff has confidence in Taven Jackson. I thought he played really well in the second half. And we got a tough challenge this week against a good football team, Washington.
Once again, game day coverage begins at 9, and IU takes on Washington at noon. And the last time IU went 7-0, it was 1967. What was that experience like? IU NewsNet's Claire Tips decided to track down the quarterback to ask him.
It's truly an exciting time to be a Hoosier, but no one knows better what it's like to be 7-0
One of my favorite pictures.
than 1967 IU quarterback Harry Gonso.
We just came out of nowhere, and so we hit him by surprise, I think, and that was really a lot of fun.
Indiana University is 7-0 for the first time in 57 years. The last time IU football was this good was when Harry Gonso was making passes in this very stadium. Gonso became IU's quarterback somewhat unconventionally. When he first joined the team as a freshman, the coaches assigned him to be positioned elsewhere.
I went to that wall, looked at the chart, and I saw that I was positioned by the coaches as 5th team or 4th team running back. And so I immediately start crying. So Coach Brown, a big lovable guy, he comes up, what's wrong, little buddy? I says, I'm a quarterback. I want to be a quarterback.
And the quarterback he became. Gonzo's coaches gave him a chance and watched as he led the team to victory after victory. Gonso went on to support IU even after graduating. He was the longest-serving member on the IU Board of Trustees, and he comes back year after year to cheer on the current football team. Gonso tells IU football to
keep on the path because the trajectory is beautiful. There's going to be some real tough competition coming up. They look very talented. They look like they're having fun. They respect each other and love each other. And that's pretty good teamwork.
Teamwork like the kind displayed by the 67 team. Years later, Gonso continues to carry with him the IU spirit.
I am a Hoosier at heart.
Along with the rest of IU sports fans.
Harry Gonso led the Hoosiers to a Rose Bowl appearance against USC and was known for his leadership on and off the field. He's a member of the IU Hall of Fame and served as a trustee for 18 years. Now on to Indiana men's soccer, who notched another big win at Bill Armstrong Stadium. October is head coach Todd Yeagley's month, and the team has come alive. IU faced Michigan State last Friday and earned a 3-1 victory and a spot in the United Soccer Coaches Poll, tied for 25th in the country. It was their 4th consecutive victory, and the Hoosiers haven't lost a match all month. Grad forward Justin Weiss scored his 3rd goal in 2 games, and IU sits atop the Big Ten standings heading into a matchup against UCLA this Friday at 10:30 p.m. Now, we pivot to a sport gaining momentum. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America over the last 3 years. Its players tend to get obsessed, and IU was all in early on, forming a club team back in 2021. Our Ryan Costello reports the team is bringing the heat to the court this season.
The IU Pickleball Club was started just as a way to have fun with friends, but it has grown into so much more.
Now it's a whole different planet. We have over 600 members. We've grown that every year, and we have a top 10 competitive team.
This drastic change came a little over a year ago when the team won its first regional championship. This title would not have been possible without a recruiting meeting at Gables Bagels that landed the team 2 of its best players.
That meeting at Gables was probably 3 weeks prior to that tournament, so it's kind of crazy to think that within the course of a month, we went from nothing to winning our first tournament, getting our bid to nationals.
The momentum from that first tournament win helped fuel this up-and-coming club throughout last year's season. The culmination of their hard work came when the team won their first 2 individual national championships this past summer.
Look out, Indiana has done it against all odds in game 2.
Not gonna lie, I was bawling when we won that mixed double. We came way back from way behind to win the mixed doubles, and I was a mess.
Because of the success, the team had so many people try out that not everyone made it.
We cut some really good players. That's crazy that a year ago we had 4 people on the team, and now we had like 190 try out.
Although pickleball might seem like grandma's sport, there's a lot more than just hitting a ball with a paddle, because pickleball takes a lot of knowledge and skill to master it.
I play old man pickleball. I'm not playing with the pickleball these kids are playing. They're so fast, they hit the ball so hard, their hands are so quick. Watch a match, watch a pro match. It's not toned down grandma tennis.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Ryan Costello.
You can follow along with IU Pickleball season via their Instagram, which is @pickleballclubiu. And with that, it's time to paddle on out of here and get ready for the big game this weekend. Emma and Emma, now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Talia. One more thing before we go. Last weekend's Chicago Marathon stirred up a rivalry among 2 brothers.
One is an IU graduate and the other goes to IU now. IU NewsNet's Ashley Voss went all the way to Chicago to get the story.
IU alum Nolan Buck is running his first marathon along with his seasoned father.
This was his first marathon back after having open heart surgery. So super impressive that he even dedicated himself to doing that.
While they have run races together, he explains why this time it's different.
This will be the first time where it's like
I'm gonna finish and it'll be like an hour till I see him.
Nolan and his father will end the race here in Grant Park, but that certainly will not be the end of racing for the Buck family.
For following here, that means I'm the trendsetter, right? I did it first, and then my dad followed on, and Henry's like, well, I guess I'll do one too. So yeah, Henry's doing the Indy one.
He can think what he wants, but I wouldn't want to give him the satisfaction of him thinking the reason I'm running a marathon is just because of him.
The brothers have always been very competitive.
He was faster than me in cross country, but I was faster than him at track. So like there's like things like that. Like we'd be like, I'm faster at this, I'm faster at that, I'm better at this, I'm better at that, and we'd always look to compare. So obviously going to marathon training, we both were trying to like looking at like who was going to be faster, who was going to be better.
But this competition is fueling them to do their best in their races.
Henry and I are very competitive, and I really want my marathon time to be faster than his. So I just don't know where he's at in his training, and I would love to know, because then it kind of gives me a better idea of like what I need to go for tomorrow, how aggressive I need to be, because I don't want to have that conversation at Thanksgiving with my little brother that he was faster than me. Like I don't want to have that conversation. I need to be faster.
Henry Buck plans to run the Indy Marathon November 9th. He says then he will prove to his brother who really is faster.
And that's all for IU NewsNet for now. We have a behind-the-scenes student production team in the control room and working in the studio for this broadcast. We thank them and we thank you for watching. I'm Emma Gladstone.
And I'm Emma Herwehe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at IU NewsNet or on the IU Student Media YouTube channel. Take care, and we'll see you next week.